Well, good day, viewers. Today we have a 2013 Cadillac SRX. It's in because the AC is not working. Heaven forbid we don't have air conditioning in a Cadillac. So I've already confirmed the condition, the AC doesn't run, and I've already confirmed that the AC compressor is not running. The compressor clutch is not engaging for some reason. So we're going to have a look at fault codes, if there are any, and data parameters related to the AC. So it's auto ID'd the vehicle. It's only got 114,000 kilometers on it, not very many miles. And I'm going to do a network code scan because there may be a separate code in the HVAC system. No codes in the engine, transmission, anti-lock brakes, airbag, body. What about HVAC? That's OnStar, HVAC, no codes, instrument panel, no codes, keyless entry, no codes, liftgate module, no codes. Come on, this thing cannot completely have a clean bill of health. Oh yeah, we got a lost communication with the radio. Parking assist, rear sensor. Incorrect, period. Oh, that's bad. Heaven forbid you have an incorrect period. Anyways, those are all secondary. So I'm going to go into engine controls. I just have the key on, not running. I don't want to get it too hot because I got a funny feeling we're going to be changing the AC compressor clutch. Let's look at data. Accessory. Is it under accessory? Let's try accessory. AC pressure disabled, no. AC high side pressure is 91, which is about ambient temperature. 91 degrees Fahrenheit would be about 91 PSI, I should say. So AC pressure switch voltage is reasonable. Signal, AC request signal, no. AC compressor clutch command off. So I'm going to turn the AC on. It may have to be running. So the compressor clutch is commanded on. It had to be running, but the AC compressor is not engaging. So let's do some tests at the relay. So the AC compressor clutch relay is item number 3 in the relay center. The legend over here says relay number 3 is, where is it? AC clutch right at the bottom here. So that's this little mini relay right here. And I'm sure if we removed the relay or there was a problem with the control side of the relay, it would set a fault code for it. So I'm going to put a relay breakout box in there so we can do some testing easier. So this is what I mean by a relay breakout box. This is part of a Lyle kit. I'll put a link in the description. Pins 30 and 86 on that side, and pin 85 and 87 on that side. Now because it's symmetrically aligned, you can put it in either way, so it doesn't really matter. 85 and 86 are the control side of the relay, and I don't have the key on right now, so there should be power on one of these pins. It's either going to be 30 or 87. 87 is on this side right here, and 30 is on the diagonal corner beside it. So I'm going to get a test light now. Okay, so I got the relay breakout box installed, and I got a test light connected to a good ground. I'm going to make sure the test light works on one of these fuses. One of these fuses should be live. Let's tie it on the positive battery post. Okay, my test light works. So 85 or 80 or 87 and 30. So 30 has power, and 87 should have power when the AC clutch is on. 85 or 86 should have power with the key on. turn the ignition on. And let's try, let's see, what pin is this? 86. Okay, it must have to be running. So I'm going to start it up. So with it running, pin 85 has power, pin 86 is grounded, the relay is on, and I've got power coming out of the relay on pin 87. So that means the relay is working. There's 30, there's 87, and the problem is downstream towards the AC compressor clutch coil. So I'm going to show you a way to check that without going down there, at least yet. Okay, so now with the relay disconnected, you can see I've got power on pin 30, which is this terminal here, and the relay sent power to pin 87. So what I'm going to do is to see if I've got continuity through the clutch, because it could be a mechanical problem with the clutch. The magnetic air gap could be too big, for instance. I'm going to put this on the battery positive, my test light. So now that when I touch chassis ground, the test light lights, as you can see. And if I go on pin 87 here, it should light, and it doesn't. So I have an open in the AC clutch coil. The clutch coil resistance is about 3 ohms. It draws about 3 to 4 amps. And that should light this test light with no problem. So now we have to go down below and check to see if we have continuity down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily put a jumper between 30 and 87 to send power down there. So now I've jumpered 30 to 87. The AC clutch should have engaged. Oh, I got my test light on positive now. I need to put the test light on ground. I wonder if this bolt is grounded. No. Well, I'll ground it. So I put those vice grips on my ground on my test light, so it's a little pain in the ass to set it up, but at least to make sure you got a good ground. So now I've got power being sent down to the AC clutch. Going to raise it on the hoist, take off some inner fender skirts, and see if we got power being sent down below. So remove the plastic inner fender skirt, obviously the tire and wheel. There are a bunch of Phillips headed screws, which are a pain in the ass because you can't put pressure on them because they bend in. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 3 down here as well. Then 3 push pins, and there's another little piece of plastic right here, and there you can see the AC compressor. Don't bother trying to get at it from here because you can't. The connector is up on top of the compressor, way up there. Next to impossible to get at. You can't get at it from the top. It's under the alternator. So we're going to take the serpentine belt off. Remember, I've got 30 to 87 jumpered right now. So there's a cap screw at the bottom with a 50 mil head, a stud at the top with a 50 mil nut, and then an E8 to take the stud out. There's a smaller bolt that goes through the back of a slotted groove in the compressor. You can just loosen it and then slide the compressor forward. Now it drops down a little bit, but doesn't drop down significantly. But there is the connector up there. And it has a safety lock on it. We have to get that unplugged. So as you can see, the circuit light's a test light. You got to be careful not to damage the pins when you're probing that, about 25 thou pins. So we got to change the AC compressor magnetic clutch. Let's hope we can get it off in here. So there's the drive plate off. Be conscious of this selective washer. We're probably not going to be using that one. I've tied the ear of the compressor up to the harness over here, so it kind of holds it in the right position here. Now I'm hoping I can get this snap ring off. So I got the snap ring off. Now here's the new compressor clutch. Comes in a kit. That's the part number I got from the GM dealer. And it's a box in a box. Interesting. GM part number on the box, but then made in Japan. Well, isn't everything? So this looks correct. It looks like the clutch coil. I suppose I could plug it in and see if it magnetizes. That would load the circuit, but I'm 99% sure that the clutch is open. I didn't check the continuity through the connector. I can't get the connector off though. And it comes with a new drive plate. And it should come with a selective washer in there, or a couple of selective washers. Yeah, they're in there, right there. So I'm going to try to tap on the back of this pulley, because I knew I have a new one, to see if I can get it off, because you're supposed to use a press, but they're not usually that tight. I don't want to jinx it though. Well, I think I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. That pulley just came right off. There was a bit of a burr around the snap ring groove, but it just slid right off with my hands. Now, there's another snap ring inside there that's bigger even, that holds the magnetic clutch. Plus the screw is attached to the top up here. Let's get some penetrating fluid in there. Yay, success. I'm going to check continuity through this thing. So I got some test leads hooked to the original clutch coil, and it reads greater than 40 ohms, but let's change the range to 400K. It should be like 3 ohms. So it is definitely open. So there's the new parts installed. Make sure you get the wires so that they're not touching the pulley and they're retained with that little retainer. I reused that retainer. That comes with a new one, but you don't really need to replace it. So now we got to decide on what the selective washer is. I'm going to measure the original one. So the original washer is 28 thou, and they gave me a selection of washers in the kit. Let's see, there's 1, 2. So they gave me a selection of washers. I could reuse the original one. 15 thou. And this is to establish the correct air gap. 20 thou. Let's try this one. This one looks thicker. 31. 39. Well, this is thin. 11. I think about a 25 would be good. I got to look up the spec for the air gap. 35. There's 28 right there. Okay, I'm going to put this 27 and that one in there. A little bit of never sees on the spline. So normally you'd be able to check the air gap with a feeler gauge, but because this compressor drive plate is recessed, you can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in like a 15 thou shim and then make sure it's not dragging. Use the old nut to torque it up, because the new nut is a lock nut, should only be used once. And then if it is dragging, add 5 thou and keep going until we have what I appear to be 10 thou. I looked for the spec online and I couldn't find it on the information system. Usually 8 to 15 thou is usually the air gap, as long as it's not rubbing, in my opinion, and it doesn't drag. So I put in the 11 thou shim, tightened up the old nut, and it was just starting to drag, so I went to 18 thou, and that should establish about 10 thou clearance. I can just barely push on here and it drags. So it should be good. We're ready to reinstall the compressor now. So as soon as I plug the compressor in, you can see the pulley drives the You can hear it click in when I plugged it in because I got that jumper on there. So I'm going to disconnect that jumper for now. So there it is, up and running again. Well, we'll have to evaluate the pressures now, but all that remains is put it back together, put the fender skirt back in, secure this wiring harness, and secure this bracket. So I noticed the airflow out of the vents didn't seem all that great, so I figured I'd look at the cabin filter. Look on top of this thing. I'm going to slide a piece of cardboard under it because there's rodent activity up there and it's all going to fall into the heater blower. So using the new filter as a stencil, cut a piece of the cardboard out of the box that the filter came with and slide it underneath the filter so that that debris, as you can see, would have fallen down into the heater blower. Doesn't look bad now. I'm going to get in here with a shop vac and suck it out.